Hey, it's Jen Purdue Lawson from MyNAMS.com and the Novice to Advanced Marketing Systems. And I know first off, it is shocking to see me jump on here on video. Most everybody knows how much I hate video. And but I have got something kind of big going on in my business. And I also have been watching a lot of conversations online lately about AI and different AI models, which system you should be using, what's the better platform. And so I thought I'd quickly show you something that I've been working on um, that makes Claude really one of my favorite tools. I use a three tech stack AI system for my own business. I use ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. And just like everybody else, we all started with ChatGPT. So many of us spent so much time like priming ChatGPT and training it and really getting it to understand our business and our voices. Um, that everybody's been hesitant to move over to different platforms. And I was too. And I didn't start using Claude until probably a year ago, maybe. And it is my preferred creation platform. So my preferred writing platform. And I want to show you why exactly here in just a second. But the big kind of lead up to this is I'm making a massive move in my business with my email system and our members area. So the actual software that we use to deliver our emails and to deliver all of the content that we sell. We were with Infusionsoft or Keep, which was renamed as Keep for let's see, 11 years. So we have 11 years of automation, of tagging, contacts, and I have been really avoiding moving because it is this tangled web of automation mess, honestly. And I was just really hesitant about doing it. I knew it was going to take a ton of work. And I finally, about a month ago, just bit the bullet, made the decision to move. And in going through this process, I knew there was going to be some main email campaigns that we needed to write. And if you don't know, I bought NAMS from my dad, David Purdue, back in 2003. No, 2023. And we really focused on trying to update as much content as we could, especially with the email sequencing. But we didn't really, at that point, I didn't really know my brand. I didn't know my voice. I didn't know, as an owner of a business, exactly how I wanted to communicate with people. So I really kind of kept using his brand voice, turning his stories more into not my stories, but more generalized stories. So I felt like this was the time to go ahead and update everything and just fully start the rebrand. So what I initially did was I went to ChatGPT, gave it all the system details of where we're moving from, where we're moving to, what do we need to do? Here's what needs to get moved. Here's all the things that are connected. And I had ChatGPT give me an outline so that we kind of knew the order that we needed to be moving things in. Well, so most of my team is working on moving all the course content. I knew I wanted to do the automation, A, because I like doing automation, but I also knew that these emails needed to have my brand voice in them. So what I did was I downloaded all of the email sequences that I knew I wanted to move, especially the important ones, like our welcome email sequence. We've got a 10-day free course that we offer that we get a lot of traffic through. So I knew that those kind of campaigns were the ones that I needed to focus on first because they also connect to any other automations that we have with new leads that are coming into the business. What has shocked me about working on this project in Claude is the level of detail and the output I've gotten as I've been working through it. So I thought I'd show you that. For people who don't understand how Claude works, it's hard to really like think about well, why would I want to move from ChatGPT when all my stuff is there? So I'm going to share my screen with you really quick, and I'm going to show you what we started with and what we've ended with. And this has been definitely we're like labor of love here. I have been working on this. Actually only took me about a day for this particular sequence. Um, and sorry, hold on. They've changed things on Zoom here today. Here we go. So you should be seeing my big screen here, and we're looking inside Claude. So we're in Claude. And when I initially started this project, so I work in projects in Claude, and I upload a ton of documentation within the project itself. It helps save on limits when you're working within the tool. So you can see down here, I've used almost 90% of my session limit. It is currently 3:27 Eastern time, and I've been working on this since about 7:30 this morning. So I've been able to get through this without hitting my session limit by being smart about how I upload my content. So the first is using the project files inside of, and I'll show you that in a second. I don't want to lose my place here. Um, but using the project file uploads and then also using the connectors. So the connectors for me are really important and I connect from my Google Drive. So we can see like this is the stuff I've been connecting right into the system. So it's not taking up all like this memory space. It's just hitting the Google Drive documents. It cannot hit Excel or Sheets, Google Sheets. It can only hit Google Docs right now. But that's been perfect for me in how I was doing this because most of the content that we downloaded we had in Google Drive anyway. So we can see up here at the top, as I started chatting with ChatGPT or with Claude, we realized that we had three different automation campaigns that we needed to work on. But the first one for me was getting this evergreen welcome campaign set up. So that's real important to me. The other thing I really like about working in Claude is you can see we're side by side here. So I've got a document that, and you don't have to work side by side. I prefer to. Um, but I've got this particular document open over here. And this was our original kind of map as we started working through like what's the purpose, what's the goal, what's the end state, where are people going to end up after they go through this campaign, why we're doing this campaign first, and what the initial goal was, where the link, where we ultimately want people to be in our business is in our Insiders Club. And so I had already loaded my voice constraints into the project files, given some sample emails as well as the email content that we already had in place. So we've got our story sources that are available. We've got our community links that are going to be set up in our new system in System IO. And then we kind of had a loosey-goosey email sequencing map. And that was like, what do we want for each one of these emails to do? What's the time period we're going to send them? What's the story source, all that kind of stuff. And it all changed as we started working through this. Now, something else, and then of course it had some open questions and decisions that we needed to make, which is kind of how our final document, which I'm going to show you in a second, ended up changing. And as we started kind of answering questions and working through these emails, some really important things happened. So, first off, though, I want to say that, where to go? Here, let's see. Oh, well, I forgot what I was going to say here. So, anyway, this is where we started. Now, I'm going to show, oh, I know what I was going to say. So, if you're part of my community, you know that I have built a custom GPT and a custom workflow that creates a board of directors for your business. And you can create, boards that are marketing boards, email writing boards, financial boards, anything that you really want help with to use kind of this AI persona to help you make decisions in your business. Well, for me, it was really important as we were moving into the new system that I was focusing on email system structure. So, meaning email deliverability, um, making sure that we were using our tagging in the right way, that we were segmenting correctly. Our segmentation was a total mess in Infusionsoft because we had 11 years of all kinds of different marketing plans. So I really wanted to have a board that was going to help me. So I created a board that ended up having let's see who's on it. Ben Settles, Ryan Levesque, not Ryan Levesque, Ryan Dice. I'll show you the board in a second, but Andre Chaperone. People, I have 5 people on the board um, that could kind of help me to oversee this. So this is what our initial document looked like. And as you can see, there's nothing here. Everything is pending. There has been nothing written. So I'm going to come all the way down here to the bottom. And so close your eyes if you get motion sick, because this is going to be very low. Oh, it went quick. So we have now gone through, and this is our final document. And this has been a godsend. Like, I really didn't expect this when I started working through this. So we've ended up here at the top with the key link references. So this is every link that I have used inside this entire 14-day email sequence. So it just keeps adding on. Every email we wrote, it added a new link reference here. So I can quickly know which links I can come back to this document at any given point and say, where did I use that link? And know that I can come in here and quickly change it. Our sequence map changed completely as I started loading content. And, as I was going back and forth with the AI, looking at the old email sequences, trying to figure out where to add my stories in, I started uploading like a transcript I did on a from a docu-series that I was featured in, um, a transcript of a podcast interview, things that really talked about me so that it could have that context. And it totally changed our sequence map in what we were going to talk about in all these different emails. So now we can see that our sequence mapping has changed. And we've got our subject, the subject of the email, what the purpose of the email is, which segment is it going to, what the call to action is, and is it been approved by me and locked? So we've gone through, and as I built this started out with day one. When I approved day one, these all had to be announced in all of these because we hadn't actually finalized it yet. And so then when it's done now is it's added the actual email. It's given us our send day, our subject line, our primary call to action, our link if there is one, and that I approved it. And I've got the email body here. And so what I did with all of these is we took the old email campaign, rewrote it here in Claude. I exported, and I didn't export it, I just copied it over into a Google Doc, edit it to my voice. And believe me, I still do a ton of editing. Even though I'm using AI to help me update this stuff, I still touched every single one of these emails and still personalized every single one to make sure that my voice was coming through. And the more of these I edited and put back up into the system to show Claude, here's my edited version, the better it got about understanding my voice. So this was email one. So what's coming next? What are we driving to? And so this has been really helpful for me to get. And so how many pages did we end up with here? Will it tell us? We ended up with 26 total pages. That's going to be this is the entire campaign in one single document. Now, the great thing that it does here as well, let me see if it did it in this one. It didn't. Okay. So one of the really nice things about working in projects, though, in Claude is that I can do 2 things. Can come up here and I can add this to the project. So now my welcome sequence, is completely uploaded and is now in the background of this project so that we don't lose the context of what we've already done. Because I'm going to be starting a new chat. I don't want to continue with this chat. We got too much stuff going on with it. And what we're working on next is cold list reactivation. So we had already generated our kind of project brief for that. So I'll take that project brief and move it over and add to the project, and we'll start a new chat. Now, the other thing, of course, I need to do is download this so that we can use it, which I just did. So let me jump back over here to my project itself. And so this was just the first one that we had done. And these were the project files. So this is, let's see, this is the one we just loaded here, the brand new one. And these are the ones that I seeded into the project itself. So the first you can see is my email growth council. So this is what I built using my custom GPT. And if anybody want, oh, I did have Ryan Levesque on here. And if anybody wants this custom GPT, just tell me in the comments, and I'll send you a link to it. It is on Chat GPT, and you can grab it there. I have it built as a skill here in Claude as well. I have not quite figured out how to share a skill, so I don't mind to share the skill with you if somebody wants to tell me how. Um, but I had a real strategy here, and this was about making sure that we built relationships in this opening sequence, that we got our segmentation and subscriber insights. That was really important because for me, I am starting with a brand new clean slate with my new platform, and I didn't want to bring our old habits over. I didn't want to bring the junk over. I didn't want to bring the things we didn't know that I know we didn't need anymore over. And so of course, Ryan Dice with lifestyle, customer journey, that kind of stuff, that was important. Open rate psychology, that was important here. And deliverability and list health, that was also very important. So they're not really here as my board to help me write the content necessarily. They're here to help make sure that I'm adding components to these emails that do the following, that get the click, that get us domain reputation clicks. So they're going to our own website. Are we missing that in some of this series? So that was what using this council really helped me do, was to make sure I wasn't sending to um, maybe direct downloads, but we're sending them over to our website instead to download the product, so that we were getting that email engagement, but we're also keeping the integrity of the domain that we're mailing from. That was important. And then making sure that we are doing things in every email that help us to build the story arc, to make sure that we've got the hooks there, especially with a campaign that's this long. So anyway, I just thought this was cool. And a lot of people, like I said, have been asking lately about Claude and about why they should move over there. And this for me, being able to, and I mean, you can see artifacts. We've got artifacts here. Um, you can save all of your documents as an artifact. And so, you can call these artifacts up. And so here's my writing constraints and my voice constraints. This is all the stuff that we really need to make sure that I'm using in the background of Claude. And I know that I am not using Claude. And let me stop sharing here. I know that I'm not using Claude yet to its fullest capabilities, but this is why I use Claude, is because it saves so much time. Now, I was working with some clients not long ago, a couple weeks ago, I guess, and we were kind of going through this process that I use of outlining in ChatGPT, coming over to Claude to really get the refinement, the editing done for the documents or whatever I'm working on, and then moving over to Gemini. And I use Gemini to fact check, and I use Gemini to create images using Nano Banana. And I get Claude because it's it's edited and it has the best knowledge of the content I'm using. I get Claude to write the prompts for Nano Banana so that we're sure that our imaging is matching up with the content that we are trying to showcase. Um, but so, yeah, I just kind of wanted to show this because when people see the document side of Claude and what the artifacts can create, and that you've got this working live document versus the copy paste that ChatGPT makes you do, or you have come up with some big thing in ChatGPT and you tell it to put it in a PDF download, and it doesn't put all the information there for you. Becomes really frustrating. Now, I will say this, I don't find that Claude does a great job with data. Now I don't use Claude Code, so I'm sure that there's going to be some Claude Code experts that can comment in here. I haven't gotten that far. I use ChatGPT for data mainly, especially if I'm trying to like do spreadsheet analysis, those kind of things. I do use ChatGPT for that, or I use Manus. Manus does a pretty good job. I don't use Manus regularly, um, but I feel like ChatGPT does a good job on the data analysis, or at least scraping the data, so that you can have a cleaner picture of what you want to look at. So anyway, I just thought I'd show you this about Claude, since there's been so many questions going on around about it and whether it is a better tool than ChatGPT. And what I like to do, and this is what I did originally when I started kind of dabbling with Claude, was I had always had voice constraint documentation. I have a list of forbidden words and phrases that I don't want to end up in any of my content, phrasing types, rhetorical phrasing, things like that. And so I just had all those PDFs and I just use those in the back end of all of my projects so that Claude is very clear on what my expectation is. Now, skills and being able to have the private memory is newer than when I first started using Claude. So that is helpful, but when I have a very specific project that I want to work on and I know it's going to be a long project and there's going to be a lot of components to it, I do it in Claude, because I just feel like it does a better job. So if you do want my custom GPT to create your own board of directors, just let me know in the comments and I will get it right over to you. It is a private GPT, so you can't go search for it. Um, but it does a really good job, and you can create as many as you want, and you can create them in 7 different categories, niches, all that kind of good stuff. So that's it. I just wanted to show this to you. I hope you have a great day.